It may have been an August month for benchmark indices, but definitely not for primary markets. Out of the 8 companies that made a debut on bourses in August, 5 listed at a discount. Aptus Value Housing Finance, Chemplast Sanmar, Nuvoco Vistas, Windlass Biotech, and Cartrade Tech made tepid debuts, disappointing investors who often lap up IPOs for a listing pop. According to some analysts, the listing honeymoon might just be over. Further, a quick analysis shows that out of the 31 companies that have listed in the financial year 2021-22 so far, 40% are trading below their listing prices, adding fuel to the argument that IPO euphoria might be fading. So, what's behind the underperformance? Is the fatigue setting in, or is pricing an issue?
I think there were multiple factors. It's not just one factor. I think the first factor which we need to consider is that you had, quite a few large IPOs bunching in together. I think we had, within 2 days of each other, we had almost more than 16,000 crores of IPOs hitting the market. So that led to a lot of liquidity getting blocked in the system. One. Second factor was, there was some sort of a heightened volatility in the market, especially in the mid and the large cap space, because there was some rotation away from mid and small caps into large caps. So that also led to, some sort of volatility in the markets over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So that is also the second point which contributed to, sort of the tepid listing for most of the stocks. And the third thing was, of course, the fatigue factor and the pricing factor. Maybe some of the issues were, sort of priced to perfection. And, while a few of them, like, something like a Cartrade, or maybe if you talk something like Aptus Value, while these are good businesses with very good long-term growth potential, but at least in the short term, upsides were capped given the, very fine pricing that all the IPOs came in. And that is what, led to this whatever happened, especially in all the large IPOs which have gotten listed over the last few days.
Interestingly, despite this, there is no dearth of companies looking to hit the street. In the last month alone, over 30 companies filed DRHPs with SEBI, and 5 companies are looking to hit the market in September itself. Market expert Nilesh Shah, MD of Kotak AMC, took to microblogging site Twitter to caution against this trend. He said, in the year 2000, as well as 2008, the top of the market was made by a deluge of IPOs.
I don't see anything wrong with so many IPOs coming in. In fact, if you ask me, it's a very positive development. It's great news because practically for the last 7 to 8 years, barring intermittent patches, the primary market has been absolutely out of shape, or beyond access for people. And IPOs are obviously a legitimate way of raising capital. So I don't see anything wrong with IPOs. Well, yes, some of the IPOs which have come up in recent times, they are trading below their issue price. And I don't think that this is, I don't think one can read too much into the quality of the company or necessarily the price at which the IPO was issued. Because as we know, a lot of people subscribe to these IPOs just with the intention of selling as soon as it gets listed. And in fact, there's a lot of leverage at play. Plus, at the same time, market sentiments, they do impact. So, one can't be sure that as soon as an IPO gets listed, after that, market sentiment will be buoyant. So, I think whatever is happening right now is par for course. It's part of how market works. But I, for one, am quite positively, quite happy that the IPO market has revived, and we are seeing really good B2C household names, consumer brands being able to access the markets right now. It's a fact that, especially in the last 1 month, a lot of DRHPs have been filed for upcoming IPOs. Well, yes, it's slightly out of the ordinary, and it does suggest, that people are reading too much excitement or buoyancy into the markets, and people are reading too much availability of liquidity or, very buoyant retail sentiment. But I think it would be out of line to compare this with 2008, because we also have to keep in mind where is the economic cycle and what resulted in the bust following the boom of 2008. Because if we go back then, from 2003 was the bottom of the economic cycle. And from there, we had already seen a 4 to 5 year kind of bull run. And then we actually saw the global financial crisis emerge out of the US. And, of course, at the peak, so that's when, we realized that, okay, well, yes, end of 2007, early 2008 happened to be the peak. So I don't think that 2008 being the peak has necessarily anything to do with the IPOs that came out. It's a completely different set of reasons for which the market went bust from that point onwards. Also, it's true that some of the companies which came for IPOs back then were not really great, or maybe shouldn't have been provided access to the markets in the first place. But that's part of the risk of investing. Eventually, at some point or the other, companies will get listed, and it does happen that at the peak of the market, when there is extreme bullishness, a lot of stuff which should not pass through the markets or the filters of investors, that also tends to pass through. But as we speak right now, I don't see that there is any any cause for fear. And in fact, absolute marquee household names is what we are seeing coming up in the markets.
Some of the top names on Dalal Street are still sounding alarm bells, suggesting that the IPOs can be real wealth destroyers from here on. Investors who are bidding on them for listing gains can find themselves in a fix. But this time, what's noteworthy is that retail investors have not been so naive in lapping up any and all IPOs. They mostly gave a miss to the recent batch of issues.
Yeah, a lot of people have been warning, about being cautious, and thinking that last couple of IPOs have listed below issue price. Retail participation has kind of dropped off a little. I think that has got a lot to do also with the behavior of small and mid caps in general. If I'm not wrong, from the bottom, from somewhere in April 2021 till the recent peak, the small cap index itself was up by about some 30-35%. And followed by that, we have seen a significant correction in a lot of small and mid cap stocks. So I think that general kind of, bit of fear factor creeping in might have resulted in some of these IPOs opening below par. And obviously, when some IPOs open below par, then the enthusiasm to apply for a lot more IPOs goes down amongst retail investors. But I think that should actually open up a lot of opportunities for many discerning investors, because these are things which are cyclical. Just a couple of months back, we were finding investors complaining that they are not getting allotment, but here is now we are complaining that there is not enough subscription. So I think this is what throws up opportunities for discerning investors. And IPOs should not be generalized as a trend. I think every IPO, every company which comes up to raise capital should be evaluated individually on merit. And I would like to reiterate that there is a lot of good companies coming up, at least what I read in the next 3 to 6 months. And it's best that we participate judiciously and avoid generalizing.
Yes, we believe, it's not only about good fundamentals. Probably from here on, after the experience of the last 4 or 5 IPOs, we definitely do think that, investors are going to, do a lot more due diligence rather than, sort of blindly investing into the IPOs. That is one thing. Second part, a lot of these companies, it's not that, even if you look at the couple of, a few of the IPO, like a Cartrade, or if you look at the Aptus Value Housing Finance, or even that Nuvoco Cement, these are all, good businesses, and they have got good, sort of future growth story. I mean, we continue to like, these kind of digital players like Cartrade and Zomato. These are, very high growth story. Then something like a Nuvoco is a cement. So we are something, very positive on the cement story in the long run in India. That is two things. And something like an Aptus Value Housing Finance is like a very unique, they have got a very unique proposition, the kind of return ratios and the return on assets that they operate on. I mean, nobody in the industry, at least a pure housing finance company, does not operate. So all of them had some, pretty unique story over there. But probably valuations would have been a bit of a concern. They might have been, priced very close to perfection, and that is why, at least in the short term, and that is why we are seeing that. So it is not only going to be about the fundamentals of the business, but probably, there has to be something more left on the table for the investors, at least from a short-term perspective. Because a lot of the retail investors, they also invest. They typically might not be investing from a very long-term perspective. They might be investing for listing gains, or they might be investing for, less than a year kind of a period. So in that case, there has to be something which needs to be left on the table for such kind of investors, and probably there could be a large portion of investors, retail investors, who fall into that category. So yes, fundamentals needs to be there, but also valuations also needs to be sort of supportive.
It's good news for IPO investors as analysts are not perturbed about the euphoria fading. But shareholders in the recently listed companies may be in for another rude shock if the trend in Zomato is anything to go by. The stock of Zomato on August 23rd recorded its sharpest intraday plunge since listing, after anchor investors exited in hordes as 1 month lock-in came to an end. The stock tumbled as much as 10%. Now, the question remains,
Zomato, of course, a lot of the anchor investors are sitting on significant profits post the IPO. So probably they would have booked some of the profits. But yes, that is a trend. I mean, wherever we see some sort of the 1 month period getting over, some of the anchor investors who are sitting on good amount of profits, they might exit some of the positions. So that is a trend which has been there and which will be there. We do expect anchor investors will continue to book profits whenever the IPOs are at a significant sort of if they are sitting on significant profits post the 1 month period. So it's not just about Zomato, but we think it's sort of something which has happened in the past also and which will continue to happen in the future also.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.